All right,
Hey,
guys, here we go. Part two. We're here.
hey,
We're back with Danny,
all right.
my
Hey,
boy
hold
from
on. I got
a friend
something
from the
right here.
past.
Yeah.
Like I said last time, we met in Expenal Garcia Moreno in Quito, Ecuador. I believe it was around 2003, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Uh-huh.
And now we reunite 18 years later. Um, and he's here to tell his story. This is part two. And remember, we're just pushing stories for the youth, for anyone that's listening. You know, we lived the life of crime. We don't recommend it. We went to prison. We almost lost our lives. We're here to tell the stories, but this is all about positivity and overcoming being against all odds. That's what we're about. Global lockdown. We're here. Let's go, Danny. Let's get into your story.
All right. So, last time I think I left off whenever went to the foster homes, right? And well, well, we got back home and got back to school and all that, and really didn't mess around. I got into you know talking about something positive. I got into this martial arts school. It was Chung Shil Taekwondo. It's kind of a like military type Taekwondo, I was told. And they taught Lua over there. Lua, not like the Hawaiian dancing. It was a Hawaiian jiu-jitsu. And I spent a lot of years there and met some great people. And those teachings in that school, and toughened me up a little bit, maybe a little bit patient, or maybe
Hold on. Hawaiian jiu-jitsu, like the school teaches a special kind of jiu-jitsu, or were the teachers just from Hawaii?
there is an actual art. It's Lua. It's the Hawaiian art of breaking.
Okay.
All right. The original instructor's name was Steve Taylor. I think he's passed on now. He taught in a boys' club, but it was really rough art. Man, they wouldn't invite anybody to fight.
Wow.
And rumor has it that the way you move up in a belt was by like dislocating or actually breaking somebody's bone.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So and we would all get together in this Taekwondo school, and it started out by coming around doing seminars and stuff. And then a couple of us, we were down to get hurt. So we started training with them a little bit more often. Well, I was in Taekwondo I was there for years. I mean, the exact amount of years, I mean, in and out, 17 years. And I still talk to my instructor. There are some pictures that you have whenever he actually came out to visit. That was years later. But this is where we met. I was 9, I think, when we met, and he was 19, and he was just got his first like second degree black belt. So he trained me for a lot of years, and this Lua and all this was all mixed up in it. And we even would fight against other schools like Kempo and stuff like that. We'd call it like what we'd call it. It wasn't a tournament. It wasn't no points. We would just get together and spar. But basically, we'd just see who beat the crap out of the other school more than the other. So these Lua guys came in, and they didn't use gloves or nothing. They just had a thick uniform on to grab a hold to. And one of their things they would do, like push on your nose and break your nose. That was a way to do it. But anyway, and I spent a good 10 years in that school, I think. And good friends, good teachings, and yeah, it kept me out of a lot of stuff for a while. And then you know, fast forward to about 17 or so. Yes, I was working, and money was short. It's tight. Like we was talking before about Oklahoma. It's not an easy place to get out of. I mean, so you heard about the gangs and stuff in Oklahoma. There's
Yeah.
meth fucking everywhere. Uh, I mean, just any kind of drug. I mean, I went to go live in Tulsa, and just like and broke up with a girlfriend in 3 days. Man, I was in an apartment where there was meth, acid, shitty weed, and just like all kinds of pills there all the time.
Danny, have you done meth?
I did meth. I tried it. I tried it once, because I wanted to try it because it's a drug, and drugs are fun, you know. So, so I wanted to try it. So I tried it, and well, when I was a kid, they made me take a Ritalin, which is like Adderall, and I hated the way it made me feel because whenever I'd go I went to the Taekwondo school after they put me on it for ADD. Um, I would go to spar and I would just be hyper focused on somebody's forehead or whatever, and I wouldn't get my hands up, and I just go in there, bah. And this place is called Impact Taekwondo. We go hard over there. Yeah, there's a mixed martial arts school in this small town from another guy that we came up with the same instructors, and there's also a little like formal kids school, and they both have Impact in the name. So this school has a lot of legacy. Has a lot of it may had good roots. I don't know how it's going now. I tried to reproduce it in my time when I became a saint out there, but just I wish somebody would stick with it, keep that going. But anyway, I got lost again. So the stayed in the Taekwondo school, and at about 17 or so, we started trying to get, thinking about trying to move out and get a life. And Oklahoma's hard. I mean, I think the minimum wage out there is still like $7.25 an hour, right?
That's crazy.
And out here, Virginia, and New York, I think it's like about 17 an hour, right? So think about it. If you're trying to get out of there and move into a cheap apartment here, cheap apartment, from a cheap apartment out there would be $500 a month to somewhere out here where I think the cheapest thing I've seen, like in not very good places, like 1,800 a month. So you'd have to like save up some real money to get out. Yeah. So hence the other stuff that we did. So getting out of there and trying to get out, I had parents, my stepmom and my dad got a divorce. They got tired of beating on each other, I guess. And my stepmom, she moved out, and she was an idiot. She's still alive. I don't want to say anything bad about her, but at that time, she was not. I guess she was not in her right mindset because she left my dad. She wasn't used to living on her own. She had my little brother, and I decided to take my girlfriend that I had at the time, and told Dad I was sorry, and we kind of packed up one day when he was at work and went to that apartment at Bradford Townhouses. I was out in Tulsa, and at that time, the place was a little bit dangerous. I mean, had a good friend out there, RJ. He knew where to get stuff. He knew how to do stuff. So, and I had the mentality to make money. So I started, moving. I bought acid. I really just hated meth. What I was talking about meth before, I took Ritalin as a kid and all that, and I would spit the shit out every day because it messed me up in martial arts. I just get beat up. So, like what I was saying about the meth is, I didn't like it. I mean, it's just anything that would mess with my libido or my ability to sleep, because I got insomnia anyway. It's like, well, you lived with me for years. I don't sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm just fidgeting. I'm drawing. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So something that keeps me awake. I mean, it's just not. I never liked it. Now, I'm not going to say I didn't never do it again. I did it. I probably did it a total of maybe 5, 6 times. But each time I never said, oh, I'm happy I did this, But but then, fast forward to the whole thing where it started to get hemmed up. So I was selling a little bit of drugs and doing all right. Found a way to get it in from somewhere else, from another girlfriend I had. She was foreign. She was from Colombia. And she had, if they don't do it themselves, or well, I'm not gonna say that, but if you usually if you dig deep enough, if you find somebody that doesn't do it themselves, they know somebody who does, you know. So that was the mentality. So I got some contacts, and I started getting in a little bit of heroin, coke. Uh, at first, I couldn't sell it because everybody was on meth and some crack out downtown. So I would make speedballs, where you cook up the coke, you get the oil on it, then you pour some heroin on top of it, and you know, and then you hand that out a little bit, and they come back looking for you, right? So I kind of got a little bit into that for making money because what happened was I was so in love with martial arts and I couldn't do it no more because I couldn't go work at the school like I was, and I had to work as a chef, welder. I even went to welding school. Did everything I could to try to get out of that. But nothing. Everything kept just getting crashing down, getting taken away, or I was down with my finances, or I'd fall in love with the wrong person, and then I get up one morning and the apartment would be empty. That's that's happened a few times too. And, just the whole thing, and just with selling a little bit, I was dressing a little better. I was driving a car that the air conditioner worked, and you know, I didn't, I didn't have. I wasn't trying to hide my socks, under my pants to see what I had two different socks on because I couldn't find a matching pair. You know, it was I was getting a little bit better, and I wanted to go keep training. So I wanted to try to find a way I can go into train without being on my feet all day. So, and then the whole marijuana thing. Because just to smoke a little bit of weed and then you take a piss test and you can't work, you can't have a decent job. So I was like, well, I guess we're gonna move this a little bit. And a couple of times, some people, paid me with guns. So then you'd have to get rid of the guns. You have to move those. So I got out of the group I was in. I got married. I said, well, I was gonna try to have a wife and all that stuff when I was like 21. And I said, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this last deal. Do this last deal. Get try to get all this financial stuff out of my way. Have a down payment on something. I was even thinking about setting up my own school because that was our vision of everybody in there, is that we would have each and every one of us would have our own school, and then we could be each other's rivals. We all loved each other growing up in that school, in that martial arts school. That was the dream, but as out in real life, I just kept backsliding in the debt. Car couldn't pay off. I got pulled over without insurance. This little things like that just started, fucking me up. So I said, well, I'm just gonna. I did a deal. So I had somebody, I had a big deal to bring over. I had a kilo deal. So I made some phone calls. I got it set up. I got half the money, bought it, and I went out there to go pick it up. And I went out there. I had a couple kids. I was going to carry it, and I got the suitcases and everything. I got the suitcases and everything. Got them in the car. I got a gun pulled on me. Got a gun pulled on me saying, "Hey, we're going to take this somewhere else." And I said, "No, we're not, because we've already been paid for it." And the guy started to pull on me. I pulled out the shit from the car, and fell out at a red light, and I'm sitting there I'm dragging these fucking suitcases down the down in Quito. I didn't even know where it was. I didn't know Quito at that time, and threw them into a taxi, and those guys tried to chase the taxi around and all that, and ended up ducking out, and we got to this place in Quito. It was called Miraflores, right? And well, anyway, got them, got the kids, they got the suitcases, and got to the airport. And I was supposed to leave beforehand, right? And I was a little bit beat up, fell out of the car, all that, and had to go, went to go hide, change my pants. I went to go sit at the bar at the airport because I was like, I had a feeling, I had a feeling going in. I was like, well, I gave my word. It's probably ain't gonna go good, but with the money they put in, if I'm not dead or doing time, somebody that's important to me is gonna get shot, and they're gonna keep getting shot until they get their money. So I just kind of knew it was gonna happen. So whenever they said my flight's been delayed, I can't. I was like, well, it's sure. I could probably go for the door, but I waited a minute, and then I walked over. I seen the two kids walk by. They looked at me. I knew the look. So they pulled me to the side, and I said, well, this is what it is. This is how much it is. Let them go. And then that was, I was like, I said, let them go. And I couldn't understand because, I was like, blah, blah, blah. I knew a little bit of Spanish. I had a Colombian wife and stuff, but the only thing I knew was like, "Quieres lengua loca," stuff like that for playing around with my wife or cussing somebody out in the kitchen, just that kind of Spanish. I thought I spoke Spanish. I really did. I thought I spoke Spanish until something came up that I had no vocabulary for whatsoever. So I was like, yeah, whatever. Take the bags, take whatever. When can I go home? I was like, how much? When can I go home? And that's whenever I got shut down in Interpol over there right by the airport, right? And for some reason, so I was in Interpol for like 2 days, 3 days, and for some reason they drove me down to. I remember in Quito it was really cold, right? So then they drove me down to Guayaquil, right? I think I was supposed to go down there or whatever. I was there for like maybe one day in this like big open area. It was like they call it. I think that was the calabozo there or the observation there. It's just a big open area where sunlight and everything comes through. I was there a total of maybe 4 hours, and then I got taken back to Interpol. So I told you about that. It's like, have you ever been to the Penny? I was like, yeah, I was in the Penny. I never said how long. I was like, yeah, I was in the Penny. But that was my experience in the Penny. It was like real quick. I got there, I was burning hot, sweating. Everybody smelling like shit. And then, they put us in that box truck again. And then just a long ass ride back to Interpol again. I was sitting there in Interpol. Remember Juan Carlos? The New York guy? There's the Ecuadorian New York guy. He smoked a lot.
Yeah.
His wife was in there, and that's when I met her. And she was the nicest person to me, but she's a nutcase. She's like, I was like, I don't understand. I don't understand. Because, but she was as friendly as can be. It's like she gave me some really nice soup. And over there, well, in Interpol, you got this side is like the guys. You got one door that usually doesn't have a lock on it. There's a locked door here, and then there's this little space, and then there's the girls, right? So I'm sitting there, you know, this Mexican girl's talking to me, trying to talk to me, and she's like, "Hello, I love you," and I'm thinking, I'm going to prison. In the states there ain't no girls in prison, so it's like I asked somebody I think for a condom or something, and they had one. And I said, "All right, come on over." So I thought that was going to be mine. I was having a blast, right? Except for the whole being cold, being shut down. I mean, anybody that gets locked up in another country. Okay, do you like hot? If you like hot water, don't leave the country, man. If you like taking a shower in hot water or being able to control the temperature in your water, don't do anything outside the country. Just yeah, keep your stay at home and try to make YouTube videos. So I mean, well, I mean, I don't know about you, but that was probably one of the most terrible parts for me is getting used to that cold water all the time. It was just a constant cold all the time. So and you can hear the planes because that Interpol was right there by the airport. And you know, it was really kind of a calm place because everybody that was there was, you know, nicely dressed, get a bunch of visitors, uh, basically scared. I mean, just scared what's going to happen. And I'm thinking, well, it's not really that you know, it's not that bad. It's just small. It's a hallway. It's a little hallway with one room with a couple beds in it, two rooms with a couple beds in it, a cold shower and a faucet, and it's on top of a mountain. It's cold. So, God, I came out of when I came out of Oklahoma, it was summertime. You know, it was warm. Even though it was warm, you could take a really hot shower. Then you walk out to the heat. You know, not happening. It was cold. I remember that the most. And and the difference here is like, well, you think that when you go to jail or something like that, you're gonna have food, right? Well, and if you get locked up, when I got locked up here, is like whenever I didn't have no more money, there's no more food. You know, like nobody ate. So like I didn't know that was when the money that was asking me for is like, hey, you got money for food? I was like, yeah, here's 10. Yeah, I was buying food for everybody. And one day I didn't have no food. One day I didn't have no money. I come up with this like this bread and this like cheese. I'd say it's cheese, but it was nasty. But really I wouldn't eat anything. They would come up. Remember the thing with the chicken foot, right? There was this chicken. There was a soup come up had a chicken foot in it. And I remember this black kid. He's a nice guy. You know, he'd share food with me and stuff like that. And I would eat everything else and I'd leave the chicken foot. And then, you know, I even had the nails on it. He goes, "No, this is bueno." I just left home with it. You want some? There's some more. No. I was like, go ahead. I'm full.
I thought that was the most disgusting thing down there. People love to eat the fucking chicken feet.
The chicken feet. Was that the most disgusting thing you found down there?
Oh, bro, disgusting. What about that plate they used to bring out? It was called guatitas. It was
Oh
like
yeah,
it was
that's
like pork belly with like peanut butter sauce. Bro, some
the
ridiculous.
pork belly with peanut butter sauce.
I used
Or,
to get it and I used to pick it up when we were in F. I would take it back to the cell, I would wash it, and then I would just fry the pork belly. Make make pork rinds.
paper pork. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would. I would just eat it. But did you ever find what librillo? Whenever you was out there,
What's that?
that's the lung of a cow. It's like a lung. So they really don't cook it. If they boil the water, they put it in like one, two, three, take it out, cut it up. And it's so tough. I mean, basically, when I ate it, you just have to swallow it whole and let the stomach take care of it.
Oof.
Otherwise, you're just like, and just you got sauce going all over everybody in front of you. And but I remember the food out there also. Whenever we was, I don't think he was in the clinic yet. I would eat, I would work out, and I would eat this fritada. every morning, like a bag of fritada with ají every morning. You guys that don't speak Spanish, fritada is pieces of pork with all the skin and the fat just cut into little squares, and they put it in water and they let it fry in its own stuff until it's edible. Then they put that in a bag with hot sauce and stuff, and they give it to you. But the conditions are like this: they have this lady standing on the street corner with traffic and stuff going by, with a bucket of clean or dirty water and another bucket of less dirty water, and that's what they wash their hands with. They wash their plates with. Uh, I would say sometimes wash their ass with. So I would eat this every morning, right, for breakfast, because I wasn't doing drugs anymore. I had money. So, and then one day I got this ingrown hair right here, and I go to squeeze it, and it infected so bad. First turned like a little pimple, and then it become a thing about probably about like this thick, this thickness of my wrist, the sideways, halfway up my leg, right? And it's pure pus. I mean, it's just it's
Oh my God.
it's like a big ass infection. It's just right around.
Dude, you didn't go to the hospital?
Well, I mean, of course. It's like, go look at it. I was like, no, it's just a pimple. But then when it started really hurting, so I went to the polyclinic, and they told me it's a thing called a nacido, and it was like, what? This is normal? This is yeah. People happens to people here all the time. I'm like, what? And it was just like an infection, but it's like an infection, but they said anyway. They give me antibiotics, and it gets to be the big pocket of pus. I'm talking something like where's this thing work? Something like about this big, right? Halfway around my leg, and it cuts off where your leg stops and your nuts start. That's where it like cut off, and said. And I went to the polyclinic, and there's this hot doctor there, and of course it would be her. So she pulls down my pants. I'm trying to be respectful, put my junk to the side. She goes, don't worry about it. So she pulled down my pants, and we're like, what, 25 or so. So she's sitting there. Oh, that's kind of, and my dick is standing up, just falling to the side, like standing up, looking at her. And I'm like, oh, don't do that. Falls to the side, and I'm just in pain, right? So and I just want this thing taken care of. So I was like, all right, so here's what we got to do. We're gonna have to cut this open and and drain it. And I said, okay. So of course they're gonna numb it, right? And she goes, hold on a minute, Miguelito, and she calls Miguelito, and it's the old guy. He's not a doctor.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, he's not a doctor. He never been.
Keep my stitches out.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
Right. Yeah, he stitched me up too. But he's never been a doctor. He's a prisoner.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
That's right. That's what we had to deal with, my friends. Don't ever get locked up in Ecuador.
So what happened was well, they made me go like put a hot bottle on it for a while and take ibuprofen.
Yeah.
And then it's like I go on one day. It's like, all right, it's ready. And I'm like, ready? It hurts. And as the pus started like coming out on the top, it's like I would move and it just go. In the bathroom, it finally came out. I think you were there. You were grossed the fuck out by it, weren't you? And this shit was running down my leg, and I was like, all right, so it's coming out. It's ready to come out. So I go up I ask for the pass. They take me to the polyclinic, and I'm looking like I'm a 13-year-old girl that just got a period because I just got stuff coming out, running down my leg, and it's painful. I'm walking like I just got raped. And anyway, I get in there, and they sit me down, and I got to show my nuts to this doctor again. So I pull it to the side, and then Miguel, he goes, all right, just breathe. And he takes out not even a whole scalpel. It's just the blade of the scalpel. He takes out a piece of paper. I think he had in his back pocket in his wallet or some shit. And he takes it and he cuts me open, and the part inside of my leg, right by my nut, right, cuts me open. Shit comes out, opens up the cut, and with the tweezers, they make the catheter, the mecha, And he goes, and they stick the shit into the wound, and then he sticks like the plier things. He was doing that like they're not even like tweezers, they're like pliers, like forceps. Then he sticks it in that hole that was like the pimple, but he sticks it in there and opens it up, right? And I'm just like, and then after that, he gets all that in. Then he gives me a shot for pain, like the diclofenac, the anti-inflammatory. And I was just like, you fucker. I'm like, there's no way you could have like some kind of anesthesia, Novocaine, cocaine, anything, just because that fucking hurt.
Oh my God, that is crazy.
Yeah, and that was the famous Nacito from eating that frittata. I didn't eat that shit again.
Oh, God.
I mean, I'm serious. I pushed and I seen a worm come out of
Oh,
that wound. They said it's not like a living worm, it's a push. It's like a string of hardened pus. I mean, it's just nasty. Yeah, look it up on YouTube. Fucking acidos or
no,
like.
thanks. I'm good.
Yeah. I
That's for
actually
the viewers.
I seen a couple that was like cysts on people's heads where they pulled out something like that, but it was something like 20 years old. No, that was painful now.
All right. So going back to the clinic, how many years did you do in the clinic, Danny?
The first time I went, all right, so, well, we had this strike, I went in and started dabbling with a little bit of drugs because, uh, well, we're going to get to that. But I think the first time I was there like 8 months, and the second time I stayed there for a few years. I ended up being the jefe de casa, the boss of the clinic. But but what happened was, all right, I was inside. I was getting, I was kind of just riding it out. I had a couple friends in there. We hung out. Really wasn't that. I mean, I dabbled in drugs sometimes on cadadas, or maybe just a little bit. And I'd smoked a lot of weed. Yeah, Teo, my cat. I smoked a lot of weed. And hey guys, now you're famous. You like that? All right, I smoked a lot of weed, and sometimes do other drugs. But leading, I kind of fell into it. I crashed. I started doing a lot of bass and doing heroin. I would we'd get bass and then put the heroin on top of it. Called it, fried egg, huevo frito.
Yeah, that's crazy. Explain to us a little bit, or to the viewers that don't know, what you would do in the Explanada Garcia Moreno. It was pretty usual, I would have to say. It was pretty common for people to buy freebase, throw it in the pipe, and then add heroin on top of it like a topping. It was insane. Tell us
Yeah.
how you felt, what it made you feel, why'd you do it?
Okay, well, getting up to that. Well, first I just kind of dabbled with a little bit of bass and then a little bit of heroin, and I noticed I was getting bad at it, so I just stopped. I stopped one day. I think we had a short strike, and and the next day they did the baldeo when they cleaned everything up. That day I didn't, I didn't have that heroin addiction anymore. They call it the monkey. You got the monkey on your back.
Yeah.
I didn't have that, and I was like, and I really didn't want anything else. And I was like, all right, it's like, it's because it's like I crashed. I don't want anything else, whatever. Then, I'm going good for a couple of weeks, and then my sister dies, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So when my sister died, that's when me and you became, we're bunk buddies right there. So what I would ended up doing in the end, I think I spent like about $90 in drugs a day. Now this is in South America where like a gram of heroin costs what, $5-10, and base $5 is a good 3 or 4 gram bag.
Yeah, let's just, keep in mind we're inside of an Ecuadorian prison. Drugs are cheaper than what they are in the States, especially a lot cheaper than what it is inside of a prison or a jail in the United States. But also for a prison in Ecuador, very costly. So, buying the drugs on the street, a gram could go anywhere from 50 cents to $1. Once it makes it inside the prison, it would probably be $5 to $6. And then bagging it up, you make more money off it. Also, when it was given on credit to foreigners, they could give you a gram for $50, and that person's going to take it because they need it. They need that fix for the day, and they'll pay whatever it is. I've seen it. I've done it. I never got into heroin. I got into other drugs, but that's going to be coming on upcoming podcasts that I'm going to be doing, and sharing my stories of drug addiction as well. But yeah, Danny, share with us, your experience with it.
Yeah, I mean, actually, my experience was a lot of it sitting right next to you and your experience. but but what I would end up doing in the end was I would take I would end up spending like $90 a day in drugs. I mean, sometimes on credit. The heroin guy, he was really nice, and well, until our friend Kovo Jaime got into it. But uh, I would. I mean, in the end, I had it like I would make a potato pipe. I'd put weed on it. I'd put a lot of base, make a little hole and put heroin on it. You couldn't light that with a match. I was trying to die. Remember, I wanted to be with my sister. So I twisted up toilet paper. I lit it on a candle, and I would hit it, and immediately, and don't let me lie. Immediately when I drink water, I throw everything up and then hit it again. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Seen me do that a few times. Not proud of it, and definitely thank all the gods in existence that's not part of my diet anymore. But that was yeah, I almost died. If I can find it, I got a picture of when I got out and I had that problem where I was really skinny. I mean, I'm not saying I'm on the pinnacle of physical fitness right now, but I was really skinny. I mean, yeah, I remember after the strike and the 2003 strike, the 2004 strike, where all those people died.
Mm-hmm.
I remember at that time I did so much drugs and I got so skinny. It's just really I just you know even people that knew me just said you're not even there anymore. I just was I would I started carving on was it broomsticks. I cut off pieces of broomsticks and I just carved faces in those and do those. Remember, I even gave you a couple of them back in the day.
Yeah. Danny, let me ask you, what was experiencing a riot in Ecuador's prison like for you?
The riots. Usually, this is just a big surprise. I mean, we just walking around doing whatever, and whenever you had the riots with the visitors there, it was a lot easier to deal with than whenever it was just the prisoners, because when it was just us, you'd be sitting there or I'd be sitting there, and then all of a sudden you see a white cloud coming in. You start choking before you see the white cloud, and then it's like when they throw these bombs of gas like in the back of the pavilion.
Yep.
And at the time, I lived in the back of B, and I remember at one time we was in the back of D. I was sitting in the back of B, and they threw in I think it was like two or three just gas bombs, and then try to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, you feel like you're gonna die. I know, it's horrible.
I mean, just if my dad didn't mace me when I was a teenager so many times, I probably would have died. So, I mean, a lot of those country boys toughened me up to get through that. But yeah, I remember we was dragging each other out of there with Patterson, Nico, and little Aaron. We was just trying to get out of there, and the only thing they said that would bring down the burn and help you breathe, it was burning newspaper and putting the smoke in your face.
Yeah.
I never believed that.
I never felt the difference either.
Me neither. I had to feel like an idiot because now I smell like burnt paper. So, I mean, I never felt the difference on that. I mean, you're right. Actually, they said don't throw water on your face. You know, when I threw water on my face, I felt a little bit better. It's just when they wet your face and then mace you, that's when it sucks. It just can't, can't be wet when it hits you. But the riots, usually it would be like you're sitting there and you hear just you're sitting there in a closed cell or like in a closed cell and you hear a bunch of people running past you. So then you got two options. You can go out and see what's going on and hope to God they're not throwing knives everywhere, or you could just lock the door and wait for the noise to go down. But when they started throwing gas, I mean the worst part is whenever it was in the cell because they throw all this gas in the hallways and you only got that little window, and usually there's like 5 6 people in that little cell. You know, a cell with 2 beds. If you look up Garcia Moreno on the internet, you can see that place was a museum. The place is like what 500 600 years old. There's 2 beds and like 6 people in there. Sometimes even somebody sleeping in the bathroom, and in the bathroom at 6 o'clock in the morning, that shit fills up with water. Okay. If you remember correctly, so the viewers can see this. Over there, we got water. I think it was once a day or twice a day. So
No, it was actually 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. It was 12 noon to 1, and then 4 to 5 p.m.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah. We had
yeah,
3 hours of water a day. Those are the times where I would take advantage, take a cold shower, wash any dishes, go to the bathroom, wash my mouth, and then we would grab the 2 liter bottles, fill them up with water. I usually had like 10 or 15 bottles that I would have
right.
filled up. And then I had a huge like a rubber, like a recyclable rubber bin.
Yeah, the Rubbermaid thing. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, remember that? We'd have
yeah,
that selling. Yeah, I would fill that up. It's
we
very
would
important there.
buckets were a hot commodity there.
Yep.
You get the 5 gallon buckets.
Yeah, we had the buckets to make the liquor though. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah. The buckets with the lids were for making chamber.
That's right, buddy.
Chamber. And yeah, remember that time that all those German guys went blind from drinking that shit?
Yeah, I remember. Wasn't from our batch. It
It
was
wasn't my
not
bad.
from us.
Right. And they recuperated eventually.
Yeah, yeah. But one of them was blind forever.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
permanently.
Huh?
He was blinded permanently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard more stories about that. But one of the riots, going back to the strike in 2004, um, whenever in the strike in 2004, what happened? You'll probably hear about the strike from all of us, from different points of view.
That's
I
right.
was out and about. In this strike, what happened was there was taken some kind of right from the prisoners, some way to get the sentence down. At the
The two
time,
for one law.
yeah, the 2 for 1 law. So if you
So
got locked
let me
up,
explain to the viewers. The 2 for 1 is basically if you got sentenced to 8 years, you would get your sentence exactly 8 years, but you'd only pay 4. So if you got 16, you'd pay for 8. That was the 2 for 1. Pretty simple.
yeah, that's the 2 for 1 law. So they took that away, and so the only thing you had the 1 month for 12, 1 for 12. So you pay 11 months of every year's sentence. So
I don't even think that was valid, was it? I'm not sure.
yeah, that was valid.
I don't even remember. I mean, I had a bunch of extra charges, so I mean, I was looking at after the 8 years, probably another 3 years, 3.5 years of sentence added. I got
for
lucky.
the
If I didn't get deported, who knows what it was.
for internal trafficking.
Well, yeah, I had internal trafficking, but that got taken off. Then I had the intent to escape from Tulcan, and then I had the
Yeah,
intent to escape from Quito, and then a whole bunch of times I got caught with like cell phones, knives, drugs. I got caught with coke. I got caught in a different cell. Taken up to the calabozo for like 10 days. A whole bunch of times I got extra charges added on.
10 days.
Yeah,
Never 10 days. I got like 3 months. I got
3 months in the calabozo. What? No,
Oh, they,
I got 10 days. Remember Rojas, that guard
yes,
Rojas with the glasses?
yeah.
So we were partying and I stayed in somebody else's cell. And then they did a search at night and Rojas came to the cell and I was in the cell. I was cooking up coke. I had pure cocaine on me. We had crack rocks cooked up. We had liquor. It was insane.
That was a
And
good time.
yeah, they beat me all the way up those 4 floors to the calabozo, and I stayed there for about 10 days. Yeah,
Probably just to heal up because that Rojas guy, he hits hard.
yeah, he's a real
This
stone.
guy, for the viewers, this guy was a big, muscled up guy, every bit as tall as Oscar, and he loved like martial arts movies and beating on prisoners.
Yep.
So there's a part of this little elite alpha group that they would do the interrogations, right?
Yeah.
Remember they would get together and F whenever we was in Pavilion F. They would like take turns pulling them out of the cell, taking them down the walkway in that little area, beat the snot out of them with a shovel and shit, and then walk them back to the cell and say goodnight.
Yeah.
That was the routine in F. But yeah, the Rojas is a dick. Anyway, but later on, he tried to make, whenever I was given those martial arts classes in the clinic, he was trying to be my best friend there. He was like, hey, let's work technique and this and that. I'm like, man, I hate you. just please walk away and please off a cliff if possible. So, yeah, because whenever I was going into the pen, going in, like coming off the truck, they make us walk this way. And as you walk this way, they slap the shit out of you. And the guy that hit me the hardest was him, was Rojas.
You talking
And
about
then,
the first day you entered?
yes,
Yeah.
first answer, you walk into that real nasty place, you hear everybody screaming and yelling. They line up the guards and everybody takes their shot at you. But it's stupid because they walk this way and they slap you. And walk the other way and they slap you. I'm like, why are they slapping? I mean, I really thought I was gonna get hit in the face with a stick or something at first.
Yeah, I got a little bit of everything. I got there and they had like a couple, I think it was like 5 or 6 guards up the walkway to the calabozo, and then like 3 or 4 cops. And yeah, it was just like kicking, punching. I fell a couple times, but I had to keep on going. And
Mhm.
that's it. I mean, that's the way they would receive everybody that got sent to that prison. That's the welcoming.
Yeah, that's the welcome party. And they actually give you kind of a beating on the way out too, but then it's not so bad because we all know each other. With the Ortiga.
No, I didn't get that. I didn't get no beating.
They pulled that Ortiga on me, and I said, "Look, I'm going free now. Don't give me a reason to go right back in the door." Because I didn't want them to touch me. I was like, "You can keep all your Ortiga shit. I don't need your hitting me with plants to make sure I don't come back. Don't worry about that."
Oh, that's what that. Yeah, I remember that. I remember they used to do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, but well, going back to the riot in 2004, uh, there was a cat that took some base, right? Took, I think it was like $5-10 in base. And yeah, he was over, the little Colombian guy was over around your cell. I don't remember what his nickname was. But this big, this black guy got paid in drugs to go stab him. He goes in and hits him. And really he didn't do nothing. He just got a couple little stab wounds. And dude was like, ay, 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 but he was walking around. He obviously didn't go in, past ribs or something vital.
Yeah.
He was just walking around, but he's Colombian. And, Colombian in this strike, in this strike in 2004, I forgot to mention that when the prisoners took over the prison, they took guards and a couple police hostage. This is when the strike in 2004 we're talking about. And welded the doors shut in all the entryways to the prison. Uh, I was in Pavilion B at that time, and we was getting gas, so we run out, dragging each other out to the patio. So that's when we see the cops uh, busting us with all these gas bombs. And then the prisoners start, like Keller and them, start busting up the benches to get rocks to throw at the police.
Yeah.
And other guys are trying to put the bombs out with buckets of water, that they're choking us in the patio. And that's when then Keller or somebody threw a rock and hit one of the police in the face, and that's when he went down with all his guns
Fell
and stuff.
down. Yeah. He
Heavy
fell
on
inside. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep. I was there for that one too.
Uh-huh. So right after that, this is we get the gas off of us, the whole thing with the cops, and everybody's going back in, and that's when we stop fighting with the cops, that's when people start killing each other inside. Uh, we were standing up on the second floor, went up to the cell, basically to regroup and arm ourselves. To put on some thicker clothes, uh, get some kind of knife or something on you, get a towel around your neck. That's what we had. It's basically your armor. And where I'm in D, you're in D, you're not in a very good spot either. And so we go out and with Calvo and Peluche, right? These two Colombian dudes, they're really nice guys, sitting always drinking coffee. They're our neighbors, right? We're all potheads. So we started hearing, dun, 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 dun. This guy tried to kill the Colombian. And this Colombian guy comes over and he's sitting there like, ay, 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 ay. And he's just a nice guy, right? And then next thing I know, Jairo, remember Mate Marica? That guy was like one of my best
I know.
friends.
He killed like 5 people.
Yeah, but he was. I'd never seen that side of him. I'd eat lunch with him every day.
Yep.
He'd call me every day to his cell for lunch. And anyway, I see this guy running down, and he has a mob of Colombian people behind him. And they go to this cell where this guy Casi Loco cell at the end of Pavillon B. And they start throwing thinner in there. They light this shit on fire. This guy's trying to push the flaming mattresses out. And dude gives up. He goes running out the door, and all these Colombian guys just start hacking at him. And the shit was, it even became a little bit funny because so many Colombians came up to stab the guy. It was like, hey, can I get the knife for a minute? Okay, sure. It's just, they were borrowing the knife each other.
They were borrowing knives to stab him. They were taking turns. Look at this.
Yeah, they were taking turns.
Ecuadorian prison, my friends.
They only had
on the Global Lockdown podcast will you hear about these kind of stories. They're taking turns with the knives to stab this guy during a riot. All right, keep going.
Yeah. Serious. It's like he walks up and is like, hey, mijo. I like, yeah, of course. It was like, hey, you got a light? Yeah, of course. It's Zach. And then and then they're like, this other guy goes and takes him out, and he takes him out. He's like, he's raining blood on him. He's taking him out like here over his head, and it goes down the stairs. And I'm like, all right, they're getting him out of here for an ambulance. And they put him down on the ground, and then slap, got to start hacking his head off. Then they're trying to hack him into pieces to throw him out down the drain.
Yeah,
that was the beginning. That was the beginning of those riots. And that's when shit started burning down. You started hearing they started busting through walls. When Pavillon F came in and started, when everybody's trying to get over to Prison 3 because
they were making another tunnel over there. That's why.
Well, yeah, not only that, it's that they stopped giving us food. Yeah. So people were robbing stores and shit.
Yeah, and they had that bakery over there. And I don't know if you ever went over there. But I went there, and we actually went downstairs. It was like a basement area where the bakery was. There was mad bread. So much bread, it was insane. We ate bread, and I got a sneak peek at a tunnel that they were making there. With, I don't know if you remember this prisoner named Vinuesa.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course I remember.
All right. So, yeah, Vinuesa, later on, he would get transferred back to the Penal, and then me and him would get transferred to F-Wing before I went free. I considered him a friend of mine, but at the end of my prison sentence, we got into a fight, and I got into a fight with him more than anything to save his life, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if the audience will understand this, but I'm just going to give a quick story real quick here. So we were friends. We ended up in F-Wing because we were selling drugs together and kind of like they would say extortioning people in E Block. So we got a bunch of what they would say here slips dropped on us. So that's basically people snitching on us that we're doing things in the wing. And after enough problems, we got sent to F Block. And this was January of 2008. Now I get there and me and him are boys, right? We immediately get a cell together. Um, and it's me and him. But now he can't sell drugs. I can't either because F Wing is where the big dogs roll, and
Right.
only the big dogs do what they want there. These are people that have
They're not
bodies under their belt inside the prison.
a group. I mean, it's their
Yeah,
group.
so it's their own group. Let's say we'd call it like a gang, and there's always the head person in charge, and he's the one who runs it. So we can't sell anything to anyone there. We're not making money. We're not producing anything. And he doesn't have any money either. So when I would get maybe 20, $30 here, he would be jealous. At the end of the day, we ended up, you know, having arguments and he moved out of my cell. So we were living separately. Now he would get into arguments with a whole bunch of people on F Wing. And the guys would come up to me like, listen, man, we're gonna kill this guy. Like, you better talk to him and tell him to chill out because, we're either gonna stab him or we're just gonna run up in the cell and just hang him. And I would try to help him and be like, listen, man, the guy's been in prison for 11 years. He's about to go free. Just, think about yourself where you'll be in 11 years. You'll probably be going crazy too. Like, don't pay attention to this guy. So I was trying to save his life. But one day he yelled at me and pretty much disrespected me in front of everybody. And I couldn't let that pass. And I was up all night thinking about it. It kind of it was just in my head. I didn't want to do anything, but I just thought, I couldn't let him disrespect me. And then everybody already wanted to kill the guy. So I woke up the next day and went into the head guy's cell, which was people, and I told him, I want to fight with this guy just one on one, and then I want to send him upstairs to just lock down for 24 hours a day, so he can't hit the yard anymore. He can't come down to
Right.
the patio, right? So they were like, "Yeah, let's do it." So basically, that's what I did. I waited for him to wake up, and he went outside to walk on the patio. This guy, people, gave me the signal, and he pulled out two knives, held back the guards while I beat the crap out of Inuesa, and I told him to go bang on the gate to get him the hell out of here. He banged on the gate, he walked out, they locked the door behind him, and then everybody just walked up to him and said, you better give thanks to White Boy because we were going to kill you. He said he just wanted to kick your ass and, send you upstairs. So now you're going upstairs, you can't come out no more, and that's it. But yeah, that's just a quick story of the killers and the dealers over there in F Wing.
Right. That's kind of the same story happened with me and Nico because we went over the F together, and he was staying with me, and we was good until the drugs started popping up again.
Yeah.
And we got then he got angry whenever I got some money, but I would always spend it on us, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, I remember that.
then then he go get in the debt, and I paid his debt a couple times, and then they beat the shit out of him, and then like come and tell me about it. But he already changed himself, so we kind of had a little bit of a falling out after that. So I talked to him once or twice. I talked to his wife a couple of times, but I don't think he's really in a good spot right now. But yeah, going back to that F wing, man, we seen what was that little black kid's name? That he was a come muerto.
Yeah,
He was
Star.
Star. That's right.
Yep,
Yeah, he got hung over a shampoo. We seen
that's
him
right.
through the clinic. Uh, and then there was the whole band La Gartija. They all got taken out. They ran F when we was there for a while
Yep,
until those Focas came. Those Russos, yeah, Foluk and those guys.
yep.
They came in packing guns and their TVs and stuff. Man, that's memories,
Crazy
buddy.
stories, man. We got so much stories to tell. It's
Yeah.
insane.
So, well, I think I think our story's kind of running together a little bit right now. So we got through the strike in 2000. Well, we're talking about the strike in 2004. there were more than 17 prisoners that were just in pieces that around the prison when they was ending that strike.
Yeah.
And whenever they ran out of heroin in that prison, people started going fucking crazy. Not even when the food ran out. How long was that strike? Was it what, 3 weeks? Almost a
Yeah, it
month.
was like a month.
Yeah, and then they quit sending food after the first week. There's some good people trying to throw food and stuff from the cliff, into the prison.
Yep.
But that was just like, there's piranhas and they just grab it and try to sell it, So then there was, when the police came in, we started cleaning everything up and all that. There's a lot more stories in that strike. Like I saw Jairo, right? Jairo, the Matamarica.
Yeah.
He saw I had a scratch on it. He's like, "Who fucking touched you?" And I was like, "Nobody. We're good." So that's when, with him, is whenever I went around going through the other pavillons and stuff like that. Because in pavillon, or in the Carcel Tres, in prison 3,
Yeah.
and prison 3 on the other side of the Penal, uh, for the viewers, you have here I go fucking talking about how things are constructed again, but here we go. You have like the main Penal Garcia Moreno, right? You have Pavillon A, E, D, C, and B, right? A is the wall within the wall, the maximum security. E is kind of protected, kind of separated, and then you got D, B, and C. D is kind of like the black dudes, kind of where the rockers and the black stuff is. And you got B, it's kind of like the big city. That's where everything, all the shootings and stuff mostly happen. Then you had C, where the traffickers and stuff are, the people that have money. I think we all started in C, right?
No, I went straight to D.
Oh, you stayed in
He
D.
was pretty nice when I got there. It was pretty hooked up. I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was like 50% Colombian, 50% Ecuadorian. So it was a chill spot.
Yeah. But then I was started out in C. I was in an Egyptian dude's cell, Leo Ramadan.
Yeah, the boxer. I remember
Yeah,
him.
yeah, the boxer. I was hanging out with him for a while. But he would extortion people for money. He would like, it's like he'd borrow like, here's 40 on 80. Here's 50 with 100. Here's
Oh,
five with.
hey, that's the way you make a living in jail, man. It's like the mafia. You lend out money on points. That's it.
Yeah. If you come back the next day and say, hey, you don't have all of it, that's okay. You just pay me double tomorrow. I'll take this as it.
Exactly.
All right.
Crazy.
So so anyway, getting back to the strike, I think we'll end with the strike, right? So Hyro took me around. I set the office on fire. The registrar's office and stuff,
Yeah.
because I was still waiting on my sentence, so I thought my paperwork was in that office and
Yeah.
city paid. Yeah, so I set all that shit on fire.
I remember everything was lit up. I know.
Uh-huh. And it was the only way to get out of there, because they're cornering people everywhere. If they seen a gringo, they're just like, you gotta give me money, this and that. So
Yeah.
it was all
Were you masked up?
Oh hell yeah! Of course I was messed up. Lenny had some people looking for him, and I ran into Lenny, and then we got Lenny fucking hidden because he had some dude. I think Pena was looking for him. One of those dudes, because he was
No, it
on.
was Julio Mendoza.
Julio. Okay, no, even better. Yeah, that guy would have chopped him up. So I ran into Lenny there. Lenny was all masked up. I really wasn't. I was covered because of all the dust and shit. And if I seen groups coming that wasn't people I knew, I would mask up, because so I was hyper. I ran around everywhere. I didn't really have too many problems until somebody tried to get money out of me. But then, yeah, that's a lot of other stories. But around this time, I didn't have those issues. And yeah, we went masked up. We seen people get hemmed up. Remember, there was the Colombian guy. Remember Don Vera?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a store over in C. That shit. They left him. They took his shirt off and shit.
Yeah, I remember him.
Uh-huh.
He was weak though. I mean, come on. He looked like Mr. Rogers.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers. And yeah, he's still living in Quito. So fast forward to the end of it. Whenever the cops came in, they sent everybody to the cells, and this is when I seen how much drugs I was actually doing. I was doing a lot of drugs, but I didn't have the debts and stuff like that yet. But I remember they on the patio. It just got done raining, and the police they were going to take us all out of the cell and search everything. They put gas, they put mace all over the water, right? So whenever they got you out there and stomped us down in the water, and you got the mace in your face. So I got back up to the room cell. We got back up to the cell. I remember there's a big mirror, and I took off my shirt. And I don't know from the pictures and stuff. I think the viewers could say I've never been like really built, I guess, but I've always been kind of built. You know, I remember I seen I could touch my wrist and my shoulder, not because I had big shoulders. I had nothing. It was just bone. You didn't see that because you caught me one time on it. The skinnier I got, the more clothes I put on. So I'd keep putting on shirts until it looked normal.
Yeah, I know. You had like 5 shirts on once.
Yeah, and I seen this vein that come down here, go all the way down through my chest, down my leg,
Yeah.
my ankle. I mean, it looks like I could see all that. And it looked like those like horrible Ethiopian things they used to put on back in the '90s. And but anyway, we got back in the cell, and that's when I realized I had a little bit of a drug problem. So that's when everything started to change. I think we should go into part 3.
All right. So, guys, that's it. We're gonna leave it at the end of the strike 2003.
2004, wasn't it?
2004, I believe. We're gonna get back into it. Episode 3 coming soon. Don't forget, guys, like and subscribe, share, and we'll be back. Global
Like and
lockdown.
subscribe.
We're taking over the world, my friends. Danny, thank you for coming through. My boy Nieves. Love you, brother.
See you later, white boy.
Later, white boy.